As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
There's no crying in baseball!
I ate his liver with some fava beans. A nice cliente.
That was totally wicked!
If I can change, and you can change, everybody can change!
And welcome to another episode of Your Next Favorite Movie. I'm your host, Josh G. Today we are continuing Best Month Ever 3, Best Month with a Vengeance, as we welcome Georgia on the show.
Hello.
All right, Georgia, so you're back. And before we get into the movie, go ahead and give your spiel on the Best Film Ever podcast.
Oh, okay. So Best Film Ever podcast has been going for over 3 years now. We have just hit 100,000 downloads. It's all very, very exciting. We basically review films that we think could potentially be the best film ever, and maybe some that definitely can't, but they're lots of fun as well.
There you go. Simple and sweet. That's it. All right, so we'll jump right in. You always give me something that I don't get to cover on a normal basis. I mean, people bring me these type of movies, but that's why I like it. This was a fun watch because I'd never seen it before, believe it or not. So
Had you not seen it? Oh my goodness.
Nope. Going back to 1979, we're going to be talking about The Muppet Movie.
It's the Muppets, as you've never seen them before. In love. And in danger. In restaurants.
Waiter. Yes.
And in bars. All on the big screen. The Muppet Movie.
This movie is dynamite.
Rated G.
Yeah.
All right, so when did you first see this?
I think I first saw this probably 3 or 4 years ago now, I think. And it just makes me so incredibly happy. It's one of those comfort films now.
All right, so in case someone else maybe would come in like me and had not seen it, tell everyone what The Muppet Movie is about.
So the Muppet Movie is almost, it's kind of, it's strange in the way that obviously the Muppets still existed as a thing and the Muppet Show was a thing. Everyone knew who the Muppets were, but they decided to make a film about them becoming famous. And so this is strange, like Kermit is definitely acting, but he's acting as Kermit, and it's just a beautifully like deep version of what the Muppets are. But Kermit is approached by a talent agent and goes on a road trip. So it is a road trip film, and I think there's some of the best films are road trip films. So no, it's a Kermit the Frog road trip, meeting different Muppets along the way, fighting off bad guys who want to turn Kermit into a spokesperson for a Frog's Leg fast food chain, and it's just so wonderful.
All right, so you say this has become a comfort movie. So go into that a little bit more. Why did you want to talk about this one today?
It's the sort of film that just makes me feel so warm inside. It's not particularly long. It's not anything. It's one of those films where if you put it on, if you're having a bad day, it just cheers me up in every single way, but not just in a like, oh, it's really, really funny, because it's not. It is so warm. It's got heart. It makes me cry in the middle. And it's just so beautifully made. And the production that went into it and the love that went into this film is just evident in every single person that you see, every single Muppet that you see, every single set piece. It's just gloriously constructed.
I'll ask you this just because I'm curious. What's your favorite song from this one with all the musical numbers it has?
The one around the campfire. I can't remember what the name of it is. Let me have a look. I hope I go back there someday. Ian is saying it. He thinks it's called. But yeah, when they sit around the campfire and Kermit starts singing, and it makes me cry. That is the bit that makes me cry.
Oh, well,
I've said before on the pod when we covered the film, like that is the sort of song I want at my funeral, because it's just so gorgeous and glorious and makes me so emotionally fulfilled. It's so lovely. I'm going to go back there someday. I've got a research going on in the corner. It's brilliant.
There you go. That's like the old days for you guys, except flip it and reverse it, right?
Yeah. Yes, it's kind of strange.
All right. So as you heard her say, they have covered this one on the podcast. So if you want to hear the deep dive treatment, head over to Best Film Ever and hear them really dissect it all the way through. As for me, we keep it short and sweet. We're going to get into the fun stuff now, and that is, which obviously there are tons of Muppet movies, so I don't know how you want to tackle this question, but if this was to get like maybe a direct sequel to this one, or how would you, I don't know how you want to take that question, but what would you have liked to have seen?
Oh yeah, this is kind of difficult for this one, because I guess they did kind of do a sequel to this in the Muppet movie in 2011, but it wasn't a direct sequel. So I don't really know. I don't think this one needed a direct sequel because of how it ends on a warm, complete note. I think if you tried to do like 2 years later, did another version of it, I just don't think it would have worked. But yeah, no, they brought the Muppets back in 2011, and that is a glorious, glorious film as well. And it was so lovely to see them kind of re-capture that warmth and magic that it seems to be only like the Muppets can actually bring to the screen, because they are so wonderful and because they are still practical. It makes me so happy. There's something about seeing something that's actually a puppet actually doing these things is something you don't get a lot of the time in film nowadays. And I mean, if you listen to Best Film Ever, you'll hear me go on about practical effects all the time, because that is one of my favorite things about film. But yeah, so this is just, it's all practical, and that makes me so incredibly happy.
So let me ask this, and maybe you have an answer or not. Of all the other different Muppet movies out there, which one would you say is your favorite?
So this is going to come as a bit of a strange one, but I really enjoy the 2011 like kind of restart into it. But then a couple of years ago, it might even have been last year, I can't remember, they did the Muppets do the Haunted Mansion.
Okay, yes.
And that was amazing. Like there was faces in that I was recognizing, and the way that they did it, because I'm a big parks fan anyway, so Disney parks, they managed to incorporate loads of the stuff from the actual ride, and that was like two of my favorite things colliding. So that's definitely one of my favorite ones.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, we did watch that one last year when it hit. Yes, that was last year when that came out, and yeah, that was a fun one. I definitely enjoyed that one as well. That was nice. What, 30-minute, 40-minute one?
Yeah, it wasn't long. It wasn't a full film. Okay,
so this one gets interesting, and it's almost like the reverse of Muppet This Movie, I guess, because I don't know how else to tackle this question, and that would be the remake.
Mm-hmm.
So I have no idea how you want to tackle that.
Honestly, I'm not really sure how you'd do it. I guess you'd maybe change up the different cameos to just be more modern cameos, but they're so wonderful as they are, so I don't really know what you'd do with them. But putting like old school like English actors in with the Muppets would be wonderful. I'd love to see like Maggie Smith with the Muppets, or like David Tennant with Muppets. I think would just be glorious. So like those sorts of people, these like really like highbrow actors, like you get with Muppets Christmas Carol, you get like a highbrow actor in with Muppets. And I think it just creates this thing that you don't ever see, because they take it so seriously, because the Muppets are treated as actors on set.
Right.
And so if you get an actor who is able to kind of emulate that, they understand the kind of feeling that it's going for, and treat the Muppets with the respect they deserve, which sounds really stupid, but it creates this wonderful scene of, oh no, they are real. That's who they are. And that's what I do, I guess, we would put in new cameos, but people that understand what the Muppets are and not just kind of laugh at them. It's very much needs to be laughed with, not at.
Okay, so you listed a couple people. Do you have like someone dead set that you would love to see in a Muppet movie that wasn't one of those couple that you listed?
I mean, other than me, I'm not sure. No, just people of that kind of ilk. Like it would have been amazing to have seen like Alan Rickman with the Muppets. Would have been incredible. But obviously not doable now. But no, those sorts of ilk of people that are just very classically trained and know what they're doing on screen, and then put them with the Muppets, I just think would be glorious.
All right, Georgia, here's what I want you to do. For anyone who maybe isn't sold yet, give that final pitch on why they should watch the Muppet Movie, the original Muppet Movie.
Absolutely, it is the original Muppet Movie, and that has so much meaning and depth to it, because it did things on screen that had never been done before, with puppetry, but also with just practical effects in general. There is something for absolutely everyone that I think you can appreciate this film on so many different levels, because on its base, it is just a happy road trip film. And then you kind of dig a little bit deeper and there is meaning and there is messages and emotions about life in general and how people act and society in there. It is such a deep movie if you actually kind of take it as it's done. And it's got musical numbers. It's got Kermit riding a bike, which is just insane. The practicality of that, getting that to work. And it's not done with computers. It is Kermit actually rode a bike for that scene. I mean, Jim Henson was in a tank underwater all day for the opening couple of scenes. Like that, they did that for real. He was submerged in a pond. Like it's just, even if you don't massively like the humor of the Muppets or the warmth of the Muppets, which if you don't, then we can't be friends. But even if you didn't, there is the skill that went into making this film, I think is just, I don't know how anyone couldn't appreciate it because it is just so wonderful. They put the effort in and it shows. It is just such a beautifully constructive film and it makes me cry. It makes me laugh. If anyone has not seen this film, please do yourself the biggest favor and just go and watch it because you will feel so warm and fuzzy afterwards that, yeah, it is just so worth it. It's one of those films I don't think anyone should not have watched. It's just glorious.
I agree. And I'm glad you brought up the bike scene because the scene with the bike after what happens, when Kermit said I was almost gone with the Schwinn, I had to pause the movie. I about fell over laughing at that. I was like, I laughed way too hard at this joke, but that was great.
No, it is really, really funny. And there is that to it as well. The like repetitive jokes. The Hare Krishna joke gets me. I think is just so funny on a different level. It's not just kind of this base humor that it comes back, it calls it back in. You forget about the joke and then bang, it's back again. It's so well done.
All right, Georgia. We keep them short and sweet. I think that's going to wrap it up. Tell everybody where they can find you, where they can find the podcast. You know what to do.
Yeah. So we are on at bestfilmeverpod on Twitter. I am at BFE Georgia on Twitter. So yeah, find me there. I don't really update anything on Twitter, but I'm there if you want to get to me. So yeah.
Yeah. And if you tag her in something, she'll at least interact with you. So.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And as always, you can follow me at YNF Movie Pod on Twitter. Follow the podcast wherever you get it. Wherever you're listening right now, just hit subscribe if you haven't already. And we will be back next week to conclude Best Month Ever 3 as Liam joins the show to tell you why To Serve With Love should be your next favorite movie. Till then, you guys take care and I'll talk to you next time.